hate the place, but the Fenris Rangers keep our money there. 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 Ranging is my job. It's not saving the gal. It's hopeless and pointless and exhausting, and the only thing worse would be giving up.
Before I begin with this review, I just want to give a shout out and a recommendation for you guys to check out a YouTube channel called Major Grin. He basically takes clips from the old Star Trek shows and compares it with the recent one like Star Trek Picard in terms of morality, in terms of philosophy, continuity, and there's this one particular video on robot rights where he compares TNG and Star Trek Picard, which you can see in the picture, of how TNG dealt with synthetic life form rights versus how Picard is dealing with it. And from this, you can see how little the writers know the Star Trek franchise and Star Trek TNG and things like that, and how little they understand the spirit of what the Federation stands for. Anyways, the Impossible Box finally sees and so forth in the highest tense situation. She follows him and they both escape through this teleporter thing, right? But let's talk about some of the things I liked and disliked before I get into the ratings of this show, and what's gonna happen next. So yeah, let's get into it. Star Trek Picard Episode 6 review. Let's get into it. So off the bat, this episode had some brighter spots than the previous episode. So to start off with the good before we get into some of the issues that I've had, I really enjoyed Captain Picard's dialogue when describing the Borg. The way he described it, the way his tone was, the way he delivered his lines, they were chilling and they were very good and poignant to what the Borg are, right? These monstrous beings that assimilate you, these relentless things, right? These pure machinations of pure evil. And the dialogue was very good. I think Kristen Beyer wrote this episode. I could be wrong, but if she did, kudos to her. I really love her Voyager episodes. And the thing about Kristen Beyer, you guys might not know, is that she is knowledgeable on Trek. She is one of the few people that seem to be on Kurtzman's staff that is knowledgeable on Trek, but at the same time, Kurtzman does limit his writers with his direction. And because of that, one of the things that I enjoyed was the fact that they mentioned a species, the Cresari, I think was the name, or something like that. Basically, they're on the episode of season 1 of Voyager, and this species basically had this technology to transport you or take you like up to at least 40,000 light years away from where you are, which is super powerful. It's similar to the Iconian stuff, Iconian technology in a sense, but the Iconians can send you anywhere in the galaxy, according to Wei Yun from DS9, as well as in the episode of TNG. And this one is only up to 40,000 light years. And apparently the Borg have acquired this technology, and they only use it for the Queen to escape. One would think that the Borg would use it to send drones to every planet that there is and assimilate that species right away. But no, they don't do that. And here's again returning to the issues that I have. It's these little logical inconsistencies, these problems that keep coming up in Picard that I feel the writers did a bit more due diligence we could easily avoid, right? Why would they have this technology just for the Queen? The Borg are a collective. They're not worried about a single individual. The Queen is not an individual humanoid. The Queen is a part of a consciousness. She's a particular consciousness that is part of the collective, that when a Borg cube in the Gamma Quadrant needs the Queen for some reason, they assemble a body for her to manifest in. But that being destroyed, it's not going to destroy the Queen. And then and the same thing in the Beta Quadrant, Delta, wherever they are, she can manifest, right? So it makes no sense to me. Originally I didn't like the idea of a Borg Queen anyway from the original stuff, but anyways, that's besides the point. You would think if they have this technology, with the Borg's adaptive nature and their advanced technology and their huge intelligence, they would use it to send drones. The Borg Queen talked about having to Seven of Nine of basically using nanoprobes on the Earth's atmosphere, and that everyone would be assimilated before they knew what hit them. While sending those bombs of nanoprobes through this transporter to Earth, and you're not even 40,000 light years, you're way less than that, will be something to do. I don't know why Borg doesn't do it unless they're not explaining, and that's another issue. They don't explain things in this show. There's so much things unexplained that I don't know what's going on. And, there's certain basic things that you're expected to explain to help us understand. It doesn't have to be everything, but it has to be enough stuff that makes sense with the narrative. Another thing is the Soji stuff. It was fine. I mean, her relationship with Narek, it's just so boring. I'm just bored by it. I find myself falling asleep during their scenes and during the ship scenes. They do a lot of talking and character stuff when it should be about Picard. This is not one of those type of shows like TNG. We're gonna have 7 seasons, or we're gonna have an ensemble cast that we're gonna get to know part of a crew type of thing, where character episodes make sense. Focusing deeply on certain characters makes sense because we're gonna be attached to them. We're gonna have our favorites like Data, Riker, Picard, Cisco, things like that. If it was a show like that, like those shows, yeah, I wouldn't mind focusing on the different characters. But it's just, I don't even like some of the characters except for Captain Rios. I really like him. He has a certain charm to him, but other than him, I don't like the other characters. I hate Agnes. She's a psychopath. She's a murderer. Like, she's a horrible person. Agnes Jurati. Raffi is a mixed bag. She's mad at Picard and berates him for no reason. They still make fun of Picard. So I had a problem with that aspect. Another aspect is, he knows of this technology. And then the Romulans or the Zhat Vash, do they know of it? Or do they not know of it? And if the Romulans do know of, know of it, if they do know of it, why aren't they doing anything with it? And if they don't know about it, what are they gonna do when they find it? That's a question for the future. And they say the Romulans own this cube. They made it into an artifact. What Romulans? I thought their government was destroyed. I mean, that's what I assumed. With the senator and stuff saying the Senate's gone. Like, do the Romulans have a government still? This is a question that needs to be answered. This seems to be something that's fundamental. That should be the first thing they first answer. Is there a Romulan republic like Star Trek Online? And why did Picard need diplomatic recognition? He could just beam in. It just makes no sense to me. And just the Borg technology thing was so jarring to just understand. And why is the elf-looking, Legolas-looking dude, why is he using a sword in a gunfight? And why are we having more needless, brutal type of killing? I know it's TVMA, but should Star Trek really be TVMA? Honestly, that's another thing I disagree with. But I have a lot more, but I want to keep it. I want to keep this video short and to the point. Like I said, I enjoyed 2 of those things I mentioned earlier: Picard's dialogue, and so forth. And I just like this whole thing about the transporters. I just like certain scenes. I was just bored. I'm still bored by this series so far. I feel like the plot is moving along so slow. This is supposed to be streaming. I think it would have been better if they dropped the 10 episodes. It would be much easier to digest. Still, it was better than last week's episode. Like I said, Picard's dialogue definitely helped. So I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Last week's was 5, I believe, and then before that was a 7. This is a 6, right between there. Let's see how things go. Apparently next week we're gonna get a Riker cameo, which probably isn't gonna mean a damn thing to the plot, but we'll see. Please subscribe, like, and share this video. Leave your comments and thoughts. Did you like this show? Did you think it should get a higher rating? How are you liking Picard? Do you agree, disagree? Please share your thoughts below. See you guys on the next episode and video.